on blue.
And the first ban is going to be that LeBlanc, and I expect this champion to start making its way onto the ban list for many of the LCK teams, as so many people look onto Faker for what to play. And LeBlanc is pretty straightforward, but it does have a high skill ceiling that allows you to outplay your opponents as beautifully as we saw Faker do in that game, dodging out against 4 people and living to tell the tale.
Thresh taken away from Wolf as well. MVP really just open with their picks, or rather their bans on the blue side. They don't feel pressured to ban out any of the super OP picks, anything like that. Just letting SKT do their work for them.
Well, last time SKT did ban out Zac and Galio on blue side, so they did give MVP some more creativity in their bans, and now Elise and Caitlyn remain open. It's unlikely that SKT leave only one available, but they might feel bold and just try their luck, and there it is. They're going to leave up the Elise for Beyond, and you know they will absolutely take it in the first rotation, and here she is. Only 1 game behind Zac as the most contested pick in LCK Summer.
I think she was not picked or banned in just 1 game. Something like a pick and ban rate of 99 point something. And with Taliyah up, I mean, we've said this before, you can't really ban out Faker, but you can ban out what he looked to get on in the last game. So you take away his LeBlanc, but he'll throw a good Taliyah performance right back at you.
And already the Taliyah, we know it can combo so well with the split pushers that Untara can play. Camille, you have Renekton, you have Fiora, 3 picks that are already so difficult to deal with on their own. And when you add the global pressure of that champion, it becomes unmanageable. And now, with the second set of bans, we can expect MVP to try to focus on that one, but there's still even more now that Jace has made its way back onto the top lane, as we have seen previously, which means that this Taliyah pick goes even further up in priority, and MVP have to respond with some hard engage to focus on that 1-3-1 that SKT is likely to run in this draft.
Taking a bunch of CC and the Syndra and the Varus. And what will be the response here from SKT? Renekton's been a hotly contested pick. Maybe you want to pick that up before the ban phase, but there are other picks available, such as the Xayah. Bang did play it in the last game.
She's just so powerful as a self-heal champion. Last time we saw Bang getting caught out multiple times, but still just using her Feather Storm to get out of sticky situations, and you can dodge out of Syndra's ultimate with it. So very capable of defending herself against the champions that MVP have so far. And they can combo that with a Tahm Kench or even a Braum if they so desire, making it that much harder for them to deal with. But they will actually ban Braum themselves, so they don't want to deal with that against MVP. And interesting, as now I'm left a little dumbfounded as to what Wolf might be looking for.
Sign said today she didn't skip her after-school class. Apparently she did that before, maybe on another broadcast.
Who hasn't skipped class to play video games? Can you blame her?
That's actually part of the reason why they cover their faces, because they don't want to be seen on TV skipping class, skipping high school, and stuff like that. So there is actually a practical reason sometimes. In this case, as it is now 9:30 in Korea, you probably don't have class at this time, but I've heard crazier things over here.
What crazier things?
Well, you know, just crazy school schedules from like 7, 8 a.m. until midnight. Go home, do homework, sleep.
What?
Yeah, dude. It's pretty intense over here. It's very competitive.
7 to 12?
If you have enough after-school classes, you can. I mean, not straight. There are some breaks in between as you commute between classrooms, I suppose. Lots of top laners banned out here. Camille, Renekton, Kennen.
Yeah, so SKT choosing not to go with the split pusher for Untara, instead saving the last pick for Wolf. So a bit of an odd use there for that last selection, but who knows what they have in mind. So far they have a lot of damage on this composition, one of those front tank, well, without a front line. Although Wolf might be feeling up to the task for playing an Alistar, which would be a strong pick into Syndra, as you can always pop your ultimate. block so much of her damage, as well as deal with the Varus front line, and the pick would synergize well so far. Oh, will ADD do it blind? It's a good pick into Rumble, especially right now.
Oh, there it is. All right. We will have a Jax here in LCK.
So Jax was recently picked. Yeah, there's going to be the Alistar for Wolf. Makes sense, but Jax was recently picked in NALCS by Darshan. Did not find a win, however, but the Jax got changed where your W, your Empower, now increases your range. Now,
by 50, I think. But it's significant.
A little bit, yeah. So the way that Jax wants to play out, you just need items. That's all that Jax needs. The early stages in the game, you can try to be aggressive. You do have that Fervor, which is likely the keystone that he's going to be going for. That can stack up tons of damage if he has the time to auto-attack, but he doesn't have enough attack speed early on to really make that work. So it's going to be about babysitting him early. He's great with setting up ganks, but what's important is that the game hits a point where he's sitting at 2 to 3 items where he can safely dive Untara. But if Jax gets ahead, there is no stopping him.
We've been seeing a lot of interesting stuff as a bunch of the patches are definitely changing up the meta here. We saw Akali, we saw Mordekaiser, and now we're getting to see Jax up in the top lane. As you mentioned, it has been played in other regions, but ADD, I love how he was on camera, he like lifts his hand, he's like, "Coach, I got this." And then he immediately locks it in.
Well, a big danger with this Jax pick is actually that there is no front line in the 1-4 formation for MVP, so they are susceptible to getting dove by Alistar and Rumble, which can just decimate that squishy line. And here you have SKT's lineup, just survive against Jax and then dive the bottom lane. However, Untara does have the opportunity to get ahead of Jax, and if Rumble is ahead of Jax, there is no chance for him to make a comeback. He'll need about 5 to 6 items before he can actually start making his presence known.
Lots of pressure on ADD to make this Jax look good. He's using the ice hockey skin, so he's bringing out his ice hockey stick, hoping to slap that puck around. Let's see what he can do here in game number 2. Here we go. Game number 2. Go out there and tell your friends that Jax is being played here in LCK. ADD, one of the guys known for playing weird picks. He made Sion banned against him for about half of Spring Split.
As well as Sejuani.
Didn't last too long, though, that Sejuani.
Thankfully, it did not. But now we get to see Jax, who is quite an exciting champion. One of the best parts about him is the sounds that he makes when he actually ends up hitting a tower. And
oh yeah, you're 100% correct.
Here he takes some chunk, but what's critical about Jax is that you have to be incredibly intelligent with the way that you use your Counter-Strike and your ultimate. Remember that your ultimate will give you resistances based on your AD and AP. And so, but your Counter-Strike does also offer AoE damage reduction, which if you use it wisely against the likes of a Rumble or Taliyah, it can make a significant difference in a fight. The one thing to avoid many times with Jax is that you almost never want to be engaging a fight with your Counter-Strike first. That's almost always a recipe for disaster, and as such, we'll have to watch out how he uses that ability. He's already just stacking his passive. It's a little bit of damage on. There it is.
Yeah, you can engage with it when it's your only ability. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's got 8 stacks of Fervor built up already, so should be winning those trades against Untara. But him getting low means that he becomes susceptible to getting ganked by Peanut, who has chosen a route that finishes top. So already attention drawn to this lane. And he hasn't skilled his second point just yet. There it is, that Q. But he has your Trinket Ward, which means that all he has to do is save your Leap Strike, and he should be able to avoid most ganks.
And just play it safe, as you were saying. Just farm it up.
Think of him like Cassidon in the top lane. Farm, farm,
That's
farm.
a good way to put it.
Get to a point where your side lane threat is too much to handle and collapse if necessary.
And you can see Peanut, he's not going to stick around up in the top side, just going for, looks like a full clear.
They're not aware about Elise's whereabouts, so it's wise not to go for this. If a counter gank is to happen topside and Jax or Elise get ahead, then it would be disastrous for SKT.
Sidestepping out of Faker. He's definitely made his name on it, and you get to see it daily here in LCK. Always a treat. Coming on in here is Beyond. Peanut will flash it in time, or smite it. Just out of range there, the counter-strike. Leap striking away.
He has 1 flats left, so fun to track this champion, although there will reach a point that if he does not itemize Sustain, the damage from Rumble can stack up too quickly for him to continue trading and farming in the creep wave. So it's a fickle matchup into the Rumble now that Doran Shield has become that much more potent in dealing with the Jax.
I hope that the Jax does well, because always on solo queue, whenever there's a new big pick in Korea, just people spam it and they don't know how to play it and they get wrecked. It's always fun to watch. I remember I had like 2 or 3 Akali pickers that just came in and went like 1-7 after Ixu's pentakill on the Akali.
I think Jax is a little bit easier to execute than the Akali. You can just sit in a lane forever and farm. This Rek'Sai and Elise, though, hasn't been spotted through Tremor Sense.
Oh, look at that. Coming over the wall, and Untara in a bit of trouble, but he is in the brush. But here comes Peanut from behind. So keep that in mind. The flash on the cocoon. Peanut looking for that knockup, flashing on top of ADD. Leap strike to get away. Lots of damage being put back on the Peanut, but Beyond getting low as well. No one's going to die, but here comes Faker with that roam.
Oh,
using that passive, and there it is, first blood. And he's looking for more. Can he get on top of ADD here? It doesn't look like, oh, okay, he's continuing to chase the flash forward, though. Will force that flash out of ADD.
And look at how many minions he misses. Where was the MIA call from Ian? Taliyah just makes her way onto the top side and Beyond face checks. That should not have happened, and now this Jax is 12 CS behind, and Taliyah gets a kill and all in onto the bottom lane.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's getting close there. Bang. Very known to get aggressive when he feels safe. ADD says, okay, you can TP on me if you want. I'll trade back.
Oh, now this gets hairy for Jax. So he's at a level disadvantage onto the Rumble, who is now starting to build up more damage, whereas Jax has to build resistances. And here comes that another attempt. The Counter-Strike is down, so the second that they see Rek'Sai here, they should be pulling away from this. The minions are against MVP. They needed to back off from this. That flash is not worth it. Peanut commits his own to try to get Jax's, which is, doesn't still get it, but Beyond ends up burning his own flash himself. And meanwhile, Faker just casually strolls up here, and this just should not have happened.
Another casual stroll in live, and uh-oh, ADD on the Jax. He's going to be knocked around the bounce house. Actually, Untara taking that turret damage. Void Rush coming on out. Peanut will be able to pick up that kill.
They picked the Jax, but they are not trying to help him succeed. And now SKT just see Jax as a window of exploitation. They keep punishing the top side. 51-33 CS onto the Rumble versus Jackson. Now you have a level 5 Elise trying to go for this dragon, but they have lost first brick, and it's going to take so long for Jax to be relevant now that Rumble not only has a team fighting advantage, now he also has the laning advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are going to get a nice look at the bad side of picking, you know, out of meta champions when you get this far behind. We'll see if the Jax can do anything in this game. Ian being knocked back with a seismic shove. Faker did have that burst of speed with the Storm Raiders, but not able to commit anymore.
Jax can still be relevant. He, as we mentioned before in the Champion Select, it's all about itemization for him. If he has his Maw of Malmortius, which is what he's going for as early in the Hex Drinker, and likely a Trinity Force after, and maybe even a Blade of the Ruined King. That's one of the builds that we see. There is so much discussion around the build for Jax. We've seen so many crazy builds before. You can go Gunblade. Sometimes people even go Titanic Hydra to push out the lanes with the extra hit points. So there's a lot of different builds that ADD can go for, but in the end, all of them will help the champion. Lane against Rumble, split push, be a team fighting presence, but right now the hole that he's in is a difficult one to get out of.
Yeah, he's not looking to freeze the lane there, he's just farming it up. Peanut found in the jungle here, but Beyond is out of mana. Wolf has those Mobies already, is in position just in case anything happens.
Drawing Elise away, just takes the blue buff for Untara. So he's just having a field day added to the top side, just waiting for the wave. And while he's not capable of killing the Jax by himself, Jax has the ability to disengage quite easily. It's only when he uses his Leap Strike where he actually is in danger of dying. But denying that blue buff and giving one to Faker means that the pressure top now transfers to mid, and then eventually that will likely get transferred into the bottom side. SKT could choose to go top side for a Herald in 50 seconds, as Rek'Sai is on that side of the map, but I think there'd be a bigger yield going to the bottom side of the map right now.
Yeah, level 6 for everyone down here. It'd be hard to look for plays to lock up Wolf, maybe if they can catch Bang, but he's got his own self-disengage at that, so just looks like MaHa and Max just trying to farm up in the bot lane, not looking to engage really.
There it is, that Jax build. Not looking to do much but farm up, going with the Tiamat early on. He still can choose to go for the Ravenous Hydra instead. I personally prefer that item over the Titanic, but we have seen both in the past before. They both have their pros and cons, but against the Rumble, lifesteal is going to be much more important as he can trade so effortlessly under the tower, and ideally you want to get to a point where you're getting some damage in. Looking for off the wave.
Yeah, pullback on MaHa doesn't work. Even though Peanut did make his way down here. Looking for that pressure.
And now that's exactly what we were mentioning earlier. Blue buff transfer allows Faker to rotate to the bottom side. Here comes Rek'Sai as well. And Untara has his own teleport. And MVP is likely going to have to give this up in order to get advantages for Jax.
They spot Peanut here, and the double stun coming in into the knockup. Don't even need it. Ian will pick up the kill. Peanut going in blind, looking for some vision deep in the jungle.
That's a big sigh of relief for MVP. The dive has been dwindled. Now Jax gets to farm topside. Zones off Untara just a little bit, but he gets some breathing room. And now that means that time continues to go on. You get the Jax in a better position, and you get yourself a kill onto the Syndra, who is 15 CS up on Faker. That can be a big threat when only Alistar is your front line.
Oh, with ADD nearby, but yeah, ADD not looking to make any plays onto Faker, who still does have his flash. Just farming everything in his vicinity, including the Scuttle Crab.
ADD should not be looking for fights anytime soon. And here's a play, the good defensive vision. The Ward that was about to die ends up picking up Peanut as a kill. Unnecessary flash there for Max as Unleashed Power is already coming through, but a teleport into the bottom side from Untara. He has Equalizer.
Will he commit? Doesn't look like it for now. Just has that pressure. Peanut's very low. Not sure exactly why, but they get pretty low. And there's this pressure I was talking about, and the dive coming on in into the Equalizer. Beyond taking a huge amount of damage. Will be knocked up here as Wolf, though. They do get the pullback onto Beyond and get that kill. Max as well with the seismic shove. Faker will pick up that kill onto Max.
Meanwhile, Jax keeps pushing top side, so MVP trade 2 for 1. But this is SKT accelerating the game. They want to get gold on the map as quickly as possible. They understand that Jax can take over this game if allowed, and they do not want to let that happen. And as such, they get that kill, they get that turret, but Jax trades in return.
I mean, Jax smacking that turret. Love that sound. Let's just listen for a moment. So he takes out the turret. He's just farming up.
And the dive was, oh, here comes a two-man. He does have flash.
Okay, there's the leap strike, but the seismic shove makes it happen. Into the combo from Wolf. Doesn't care if he gets stunned up. There's the stun out of Alistar, and ADD in a ton of trouble. Will be flashing here into the leap strike and actually does get out alive.
The ultimate and counter strike offering a lot of defense against the Taliyah there, but on that dive bottom side, it felt like MVP welcomed that. They saw the teleport come through. They know that Taliyah can collapse quickly, and Rek'Sai was there but low, and you know that Alistar can tank the tower, but they stayed nearby. So they welcomed the dive and just said, we cannot play it. We want to see what happens. Unfortunately, they did not. They did trade 1 for 1, or 1 for 2, so they got something in return.
Oh boy, the Cocoon here into the pick, and MaHa will pick up that kill on the Varus. And all of a sudden, MVP, 1 escape and 1 kill, and they're looking to get some objectives.
That was excellent. Going for flashes, utilizing the tools that they have to fully commit to get kills is exactly what MVP needs to do. And as long as they continue to utilize the summoners that they have to get picks, it buys time for ADD, who's still farming in the top side by himself. Taliyah does not have Weaver as well to help on this, but it's still a bit risky.
Okay, Wolf waiting in the wings there in the Dragon Pit. Always threatening. Showing us the power of Alistar.
Look at Jax. He's moving into this fight, so they want to commit to this.
Oh, big knock up here beyond is getting extremely low. Max all by himself, committing to getting that Ocean Drake is beyond. He will get it, but pay for it with his life. Not sure if that's worth in the end.
Well, as long as they don't lose mid tower, but ADD chose to go for mid instead, and now he's going to get collapsed on, so they won't lose mid. They might lose ADD, though.
Everybody wants this Jax. The leap strike over the wall. There's the ultimate popped into the combo here from Wolf, and I think this time it's going to be really hard, but there's the counter strike into the leap strike, and into that, but Faker with that last rock thrown over the wall will pick up the kill.
And I have to question ADD's choice. He's trying to be selfish, but had a lapse of, oh, let's help the team. So he rotate mid to commit for that moment where he could have stuck to the top side, pushed that wave, and maybe even get a red buff steal. So should have been a bit more greedy himself, and we're going to take another look right here. Taliyah's coming without the Weaver as well, and the engage comes out, but the Dragon is slowing everybody in, so he chooses to repel onto the pit. And while he gets the steal, it's at the cost of his life, and then eventually the cost of Jax's, because he doesn't know where Rumble is, so he doesn't know that Equalizer is about to cut him off. And speaking of not knowing, that Herald has been taking under no vision.
MVP with a big lack of vision. Faker now trying to go 1v1, just barely is not going to be hit by that Cocoon. Almost the max range Cocoon would have secured Faker's life, no doubt.
Well, the cleanse did come out to try to keep him alive, and he has a lot of magic resistance against this duo so far. But with the red buff, they likely would have gone down without the seismic shove to push Elise out of that.
Small push in here into mid from Bang. It looks like he might rotate up into top. They've kind of sent Faker down into the bot lane for now. Doesn't have his wall, but he's getting there.
So KT, or SKT, playing similarly to KT in their matchup last week, where Rumble just kept avoiding the split pusher and grouped with the team looking for play. So he's simply basing when the wave crashes and allowing Jax to catch back up, which is fine, but it just means that SKT need to be grouped together and trying to make plays happen. While Dragon just got taken recently, the only objective that remains is that mid-tier 1. So they're going to need Rumble there if they want to go for dives. Max, or MaHa, does not have his flash right now. So last time it was him that started a fight with a Chains of Corruption. But now they need Alistar on the side of SKT to use his own flash to get a fight started. But without everybody being grouped, there's just no chance of that happening. And now you can tell how confident ADD is getting by being this far up.
Ian's right on a ward. Thankfully, he puts down the control ward. You can see all those SKT members just looming around. Here comes Max up into the top lane, looking for a 2-on-1, and in comes the quickness into the grand challenge. The grand entrance, rather, and Untara on the run now. He does have his flash, will flash the wall, And you can see the equalizer will slow down ADD. And look at the rotation in here from Faker, looking to go 2v1. That seismic shove won't hit anybody, but the 2v1 remains. Up comes Syndra, but decides against it. Looks like they're going to sacrifice Max's life in return for all of this.
They're pushing mid, but there's nothing to get in return, and that was not a good move for MVP. Jax does not have the damage to deal with Untara right now. He's built defensively. He's got HP in the guys, armor in the Seekers, as well as magic resist and tenacity in Merc Treads. There is no chance they can take him out with the little damage that Jax is in. They have to remember that he is super far behind. He's going to take probably until level 18 before he's legitimately relevant in this game as a damage threat. So he gets a bit greedy, trying to get an advantage before the time was due onto Jax, and pays with his life, and worst of all, his own flash, which is going to be critical for them in these upcoming minutes.
And Max, well, rather ADD losing a bit of time that he could have been just safely farming had he let Untara just push it into him, that wave. Instead, going for that risky pick. You know, getting the Rumble out would have been nice in terms of map control, but it's not that great in terms of the gold that you're losing comparatively to that farm he could have easily picked up. Now SKT, they know that Max doesn't have that engage tool as much. They can easily take down this mid-tier 1. They're not going to overcommit, though. They're not going to overstay their welcome. Just be happy with that pick. And they do secure a 3,000 gold lead at this point.
And it could grow even bigger, as this could be a poor lane assignment on the side of ADD, with Jax being in the bottom side. Well, you understand that Baron is up. That Infernal Dragon in the next 50 seconds is not something that SKT will pass up lightly. That is a highly valuable dragon with this composition. So you can expect them to fight for it. So Jax bases. He might have his Trinity Force completed now. And has to sell 2 items, waiting for some gold. He definitely has that. There's no other reason why you would do that. And there it is, Trinity Force. But he needs still more for him to take down anybody on the side of SKT, especially when the only person he's ever been fighting is Untara.
Yeah, and MVP really in a scary spot here. Ian, you know, he is sitting at 2-0, but you're facing a 4-0-1 Faker with all of his summoners left up, including the wall. He steals away the blue buff again from Ian, who I'm not sure if he's had one blue buff the entire game. And here we go. He's looking for that pick. Ian will be forced to flash in the trade for that Weaver wall cooldown.
Great Weaver's wall there. In the meantime, you have SKT committing for that Infernal Dragon, but what can MVP get in response? There's Jax pushing, and oh, they should not be fighting this.
Uh-oh, look at Untara's position. He gets that engage onto Ian here. Beyond, he's just totally out of this fight. Chain of Corruption onto Faker, but look at the rest of them jumping on in as Peanut, getting that kill onto Ian. Max going down here to Untara, who will definitely dive. Nice cocoon, but it won't save his life. Untara, though, okay, they're going to be forced to burn that Xayah. It's not really the biggest deal in the world. And after those 2 kills, in comes the push from SKT.
And ADD teleported to this. That's it. MVP is not a team that knows how to run Jax. This is not going to work at this stage. They are trying to play a game as if Jax was a Renekton, a Jarvan, or even a Rumble, somebody to assist in these fights. They need to be selfish. The game revolves around this champion. That's why so many times we criticize picks like these, because so much of the game becomes absolved in making this pick work. And now he's trying to go on to Wolf, but with a headbutt and a pulverize, that's it. He just has to run away now.
They will start this Infernal Drake. Only 3 of them here. The engage from Rumble is down. Beyond, though, oh, it's stolen away. Peanut is going to take that. Look at ADD just on the run. Nice knock up here to secure the kill onto Peanut, though. SKT still thinking about fighting, but MVP will have none of it.
Gonna go for ADD now.
Okay.
Well, a lead.
Counter-Strike coming out. Takes less damage, but can he actually get out? No is the answer. Untara will pick up a kill.
No ward left for him to hop over, and that big wave that should have been his is now Ian's, which puts Jax deeper into the hole. And back on Jax's decision to teleport. MVP should have recognized that this is not a dragon they can fight. Rumble is too powerful right now in conjunction with Faker's Taliyah. They should have let that go through. Let Jax split push into the top side, crash the wave top, maybe even get a red buff steal, and now you have a legitimate chance of threatening any action in his lane with a red buff. But now that that happened, and you're going to take another look at it, so actually this is the aftermath of the fight where they overextended and they commit to, okay, let's try to get something out of this, but Jax pops his ultimate to tank the dragon. That's just not gonna cut it. Sure, he gets a stun off, but then leaps onto Bang, flashes out. You just see how weak this champion is in team fighting.
Yeah, unless the enemy team engages onto your Counter-Strike, that kind of double stun is really not going to happen. So I'm not sure if they were slowing down because they're like, oh, we're to play out of ADD, but I mean, I suppose nice timing on the Counter-Strike. That's about it.
Now he's in the bottom lane pushing, but he doesn't have teleport. So SKT can force a Baron as they have plenty of damage to do so, and MVP needs to get control of mid lane, but it looks like SKT might have the inside track onto the tier 2 top side, which could crash some minions and deny it, as Faker will take that side of the map and can always collapse with a Weaver's Wall.
Super fast clear here from the Taliyah. He's got Peanut nearby too. And okay, they're going to engage here onto Bang, who, I mean, this entire series, this guy has been getting caught out over and over. Not his cleanest Xayah play.
And it came out of Max using a flash ultimate there to try to get this kill, so they will trade turret for tower, and this is great for MVP now that Jax again gets some more free time. They continue to push, but there's equalizer. There's no way that this will actually yield them a tower. Wait a minute.
He's waiting for the next wave, I think.
Okay, well, I guess they just gave it up for free.
Not sure that's the best idea. Okay, Wolf might engage here. The wall from behind. They're looking to wipe MVP. Really nice equalizer on the majority of that team. Max will entrance out of there, but they will pick up the kill onto Ian. Peanut will trade his life for this one, but Beyond trying to get as much as he can on his way out. ADD trying to be the escape artist, and actually does trade back onto Faker, but will not be enough. Immediate pings go down towards that Baron as SKT, they lose the inhibitor, but they want more.
They walk away with 3 kills, but now they'll be able to get a Baron. So the inhibitor was a big cost, which was a bit of a misplay there on the side of SKT. Should not have given that objective up, but now they're able to take that Baron, which could mitigate the pressure from those super creeps. However, the collapse from Jax, just so sad to see Jax continuously try to team fight, especially into Alistar. He gets the exhaust, he gets pulverized, knockups left, right, and center, and he doesn't have enough damage to deal, enough items to deal any damage. And here it comes again. So the cocoon and stun. Actually, the stun came onto Wolf right away, and a great equalizer there to separate the backline. Ends up getting Ian nearly killed right from the get-go. But here, what ADD should have attempted is to try to help onto the Rek'Sai, not to go onto Faker and Wolf, and exhaust, CC'd, and ends up paying with his life. He's almost there in terms of damage, but just too far behind at this stage.
Sitting at 0-4 so far. Not what ADD had envisioned, no doubt. See if he can actually shore up this play. Just try to farm a little bit more instead of joining these fights. Would be nice to see. And Baron now on SKT. It looks like they're going to send Faker down into bot lane with the blue buff. Untara up in top. And the rest of them in mid. Kind of what we were expecting once they do get this Baron, the 1-3-1.
Right now, SKT is even stronger than the Baron that they have because their item spikes are insane. Faker's got his Banshee's death cap completed. You have the adaptive helm on the side of Peanut, as well as the Liandry's, Rylai's, and Zhonya's from Untara. So any 5v5 that MVP take this time around is surely to cost them inhibitors and maybe even the game because of Baron's pushing power. So now more than ever, they have to respect the threat of SKT's team fighting and allow Jax to continuously split push. So many times when you split push to control, the key is control the side lanes. That way the team that has to play the 5v5 is always under a timer. And they haven't done that yet, but it's still not too late. If they can pull it off this time around, it might work. But with Rylai's onto Rumble, Jax has even less of a chance threatening this Untara 3-1-8 Rumble.
Nice stop here on the push in the bot lane for now. You can see that SKT kind of just rotated down, and they only have 1:20 left on the Baron. Still no big objectives taken with this buff. They're playing it pretty passively too. I mean, they're just sending in Peanut to get this Cloud Drake now at 28 minutes into the game. Trying to stack Drakes for the Elder Drake that will come up afterwards.
Remember, their composition is not the greatest at sieging. Xayah isn't a siege champion, and Taliyah is better at assisting the side lane. So if they are not set up to go for a dive with complete knowledge of where everybody is, they end up just stalling out. And they already have the tier 2 into the top side, so the only real goal they can get is going to be that tier 2 into the bottom lane. And trying to crack the base at this stage in the game without control onto the Jax is nearly impossible, even with that Baron. So what they need to do is continuously group, and they have never really tested going onto the Jax with anybody other than Taliyah. And so far, we might see the attempt onto mid as Taliyah's bottom, so a 1-3-1 is in order. Could yield a nice dive for us to see.
You can see ADD really struggling to go 1v1 with Untara. He's down 2 levels. Still just a couple of items compared to the 3 of the Rumble. And even just backing up all the way to the turret. One thing that MVP does have a decent amount of is the wave clear on the Syndra. And you can see that MaHa has gone for that static shiv, kind of the normal builds nowadays on ADCs with the rapid fire cannon, Infinity Edge as the 3 items with that static shiv.
And 3 items is still not enough for ADD, who seemingly might be going for a Hex Drinker or a Maw of Malmortius next, as he has that Ravenous Hydra completed. But so we were talking about earlier in the draft, Rumble can get to a point where he handles Jax with ease. He's got enough resistances, and his itemization makes it simple to stand in the tower or even trade effectively. The Rylance is a great item to deal with Jax. You simply hit a couple of harpoons and no longer can he continuously chase you. And now SKT might be primed to go for a dive. The threat of Taliyah with a Weaver's Wall from mid is enough to make them retreat.
Yeah, at least for MVP, this is just that tier 2, so they haven't had any of their inhibitors cracked. By the way, SKT did just have their inhibitor respawn, so no more pressure back on the mid lane against SKT. They can kind of freely go about their business. Seems like Faker is the warden of the mid lane for now, sitting at 5-0-5.
Well, absolutely. You want to have him there in case Jax plays aggressive or gets too low, and here comes the Weaver Wall bottom.
Okay, this is just going to zone. Just going to keep that up for as long as possible. Let his teammates pick away at this turret. But you can see, even with the Weaver's Wall, how cautiously SKT is playing this. They know it's a 4v3. They cannot take the fight. So just only picking away at the buildings, at the objectives here.
They definitely do not want to risk it. If they start giving away kills, they will give up vision control, and that vision control will be critical for the next 2 minutes as Baron comes up. But the damage that they got earlier means that if they get another Weaver's Wall into the bottom lane, barring they secure a Baron, they should be able to break the base and secure an inhibitor. So we understand now the game plan for SKT if they get a Baron, and obviously we know that they want to go for a Baron now.
Just got 1:10 left. It's pretty interesting to watch SKT play this way against MVP, a team that's down near the bottom. You could tell just, I'm not sure if it's respect for MVP or the lower teams, or it's just respect for the way that they want to play the game. It's like they just want to make sure that they win 100% instead of giving up any, you know, weird advantages. They always try to play as perfectly as possible. It's even hilarious at times when they go into interviews and they're like, well, I know we wrecked this team 2-0 and they were total crap, but we made a couple of mistakes and we really need to look at that. We want to just become better as a team. So well, they're trying to become the perfect team of League of Legends, basically.
Yeah, and they're still, you know, they still make mistakes to prevent them from being that, but so much of this slowness or weak tempo, if you will, that SKT has is out of respect for what MVP is packing in their composition. Mistakes made into these champions would mean that they would not have any way of containing them. And here's a Weaver's Wall.
Oh boy!
Oh
MaHa,
no!
Look at that! He's caught in the brush against the wall. caught in the trees. And he put himself in that position. Really nice wall from Faker, but he flashed into that one hole.
Oh, the dangers of Weaver's Wall. They're thinking about sieging, but they will have to rotate to top side to do so. Jax is meanwhile bottom, and Untara teleported, or has spaced already.
Yeah. ADD, he does push pretty fast. I mean, this is Jax we're thinking about. He's going for the inhibitor too.
He should just sacrifice his life for this. He needs to get an inhibitor out of this. Not even give up his life, just try to get some damage onto this. It's really the only thing that MVP can do here.
Wolf's recalling. I think they're calling him back here to deal with ADD 100%. They don't want to give up this inhibitor, but look at how fast it goes down. Untara just can't burn him down fast enough. And Jax, well, it remains seen to be if he will get away. He will leap strike. Here comes Wolf from the left side, and Taliyah on the chase. Gonna hop the wall. Look at this, the Ninja Jax.
Oh!
Through the jungle. Okay, Wolf has spotted him now. They know where he is. Leap strike to the tunnel. On the run
Xayah
still.
now.
Xayah from the left dodges that seismic shove, and that will be the end of his big escape. Faker to pick up the kill.
Oh, indecisiveness once again from ADD. This is exactly what happened when it was Max on the Blitz and ADD on Rumble. When they got collapsed on by Elise and Thresh, they didn't know, should we go in, should we not go in, and it cost them their life. Sure, they got the inhibitor, but that could have been so much cleaner. He could have gotten away with his life still and perhaps even threatened a mid lane inhibitor, and now they're facing losing this tier 1 mid with Baron, but there are no minions, but they still do so much damage.
Yeah, look at that. It's pretty unbelievable. How did Faker not get assists on that play in mid with the Weaver's Wall? Like, if it touches the champion, shouldn't he get an assist?
Maybe.
I think that should be the way it would be, but perhaps he didn't.
I don't think he actually connected. He flashed out. But I don't think it still gives an assist. But this is easily, yeah, mid inhibitor. You have no chance of defending this without Jax as a threat. And now they're going to move on to the bottom side. That turret already suffered some damage in the previous push.
Oh, they're not even leaving the base. They're just going straight for it. And Tara was the one pushing this in. Big engage. Oh boy, MaHa, where'd you go? I miss you, buddy. You were with us for a while, but you're not anymore. As the flash, or I guess it was headbutt pulverize plus flash into that, and the seismic shove will pick up the kill. Wolf trying to make some plays on his Alistar towards the end of this game. Big unleashed power onto Faker, finally earning himself his first death.
Oh.
They're trying to get in there. Look at that damage from ADD, but finally the knock up here from the Alistar.
Wait a minute.
He's still alive. What is going on? Where did he go? Peanut, the only one left alive. All of a sudden, ADD, he did go down, but he took out 3 members with him. I didn't expect that to happen.
Just saves the game. The AoE damage out of Jax with the stun from Max. A combination. We now see the synergy that they were eyeing with this draft, but it might be a little bit too late. Now he's got himself a BF sword. Looking for that Guardian Angel, but ooh, that was so close. Just barely saving the game. The heroes of this game so far, or at least for that final defense, and MaHa just gets obliterated.
Yeah, goodbye, buddy, but I just want to see Jax going 1v4 here at the end of this one.
So initially, Faker and Wolf commit their flash onto this, and now it's going to be Wolf that ends up going on to Beyond and ADD. So the pulverize doesn't connect, but here, look at Jax. So the stun hits, he gets a great knockup right there. Even though he's exhausted, remember that the damage now is mostly magic, and through the redemption, he stays alive. He's got his maul, and here comes another iteration of that counter-strike, just popping down the lowest HP targets. Shows the strength of this build, just AoE damage, lots of burst with the Hydra, but not enough to sustain himself.
I suppose added to the list of small SKT mistakes is grouping up against that Jax, but couldn't really spread out in time at that point, and he is beginning to get scary one item at a time. I mean, it's not out of, you know, it's not totally impossible that somehow the Jax does carry this game back.
A far-fetched idea, however.
Well, he's going to have to recall right now. I don't think they can lose 3 inhibitors. That's going to be too big. Nice cleanse there from the...
Whoa!
Bang. Okay, coming on in. And
What?
Ian is going to be knocked over a wall by a wall.
Did that... What? Did that just happen? Okay, now they can just eye out the game.
Yeah, they're just pushing down mid. I was not even expecting that to happen.
Okay.
ADD, oh, he jumped in with the counter-strike. But the quickness coming on in, and they're trying to open this one up for ADD, but all of a sudden, Max disappears as well. And ADD getting pretty low. Equalizer is going to miss both of them. ADD trying to be a hero once again, will be knocked up, has that Guardian Angel, but at this point, a bit of a pipe dream. We'll have that redemption, and there's the seismic shove. And he's not even going to be able to take out Wolf. That will finally do it here at another almost 40-minute game. SKT will take another 2-0 and put that under their belts.
Welcome to the Jax team fighting zone. Just no chance when you're dealing with Alistar. His exhaust was about to come up on top of everything and just unable to do a whole lot this game. And while SKT played decently around the Jax, it was MVP who just did not. They did not value the resources well. The allocation was mismanaged in having Jax go for team fights when they should not be. Overall, would not do this one again if I was MVP, and definitely have to rewatch more of split pushing games such as Game 3 of SKT KT, where Untara simply just never grouped. Push, 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 retreat, get your own advantages, and eventually your threat on 2 objectives is what will bring you back into the game, not your ability to team fight. And even though Jax is not a great team fighter, ADD did not make a good case for even considering it.
Well, I mean, he got to debut another champion here. I was wondering if ADD was going to pop off and bring a new pick into LCK. As you mentioned, didn't really seem like they understood what the Jax was for, and there was that one really hype moment. It was pretty cool to see, but either way, MVP does take another 0-2. Kind of unfortunate, but as you said, they do have a lot to learn going up against a team like SKT. Let's take a look at some of these replays.
So the initial dive onto the bottom side, where it was a 5-man with Taliyah quickly joining. Well, they traded 1 for 1. Initially, the Rakan ends up getting taken out right at the end, and it was just ADD getting collapsed on time and time again. Pops that honey through, which actually gives Faker some more mana to continue to cast some spells, and now the Rek'Sai ultimate will pick him up right at the very end of that one. So many times it just looked bizarre for MVP's decision making. Soon after, they blew the flash on Ian from the great Weaver's Wall from Faker. And now, you don't see it in the screen here, but Jax is actually just running around trying to make something happen, while SKT is just cleaning house by remaining grouped. There he is. Hey, where's the party at?
Untara saying, hey, I didn't need that heal either.
I thought the repel would come down onto Faker there, and because Wolf did not have the combo up at this time, but Beyond chose to go into the base and ends up dying for it, as well as ADD.
Got a kill, but it's just not worth it, you know.
Yeah, they got inhibitor. Just many issues for MVP this time around, and it seems like what they try to resolve these issues for.
Oh, yeah. poor little MaHa.
And then he jumps in to get hit by the Rake right at the end, but it seems like MVP keep trying to fix their issues by, instead of addressing the macro problems, by simply adding champions to their pool. And that's just not the way to do it. You have Max, who has the most supports in the game played. You've got, I mean, he's got Brand and Zillion in this meta right now. You've got ADD, who now, with the Jax, ends up having 10 top laners played. Then you have pretty much every player has over 6. That's including the AD. Everybody's near around 8 new champions, which is just unnecessary to do. And here's the one shining light for Jax. Every other moment that he played was suboptimal, to say the least. Just watch him fight. Watch how he fights, right? Gets one auto off. GA gets popped. Here comes the other one. Yep. Okay.
Seismic shove
The
into
headbutt.
into pulverize into headbutt, and then he just disappears. So we're gonna take a look at the results here. MVP, they put up a better fight, I suppose. They got more kills and more towers in this game compared to game 1, but Faker with a pretty standout game on the Taliyah. Once again, I wouldn't be surprised if he nets himself a second MVP off the back of this one. Wouldn't be the first time Faker's done it. Elise with the most damage on the side of MVP.
Yeah,
Jungle power.
Normally don't see that one when you have a Syndra on your side, but the game just revolved around wave clear, and when you spam out your volatile spiderlings, it ends up racking up to a significant chunk of damage, considering that her build was full AP.
Yep, so there you do have it, guys. SKT with another 2-0 over Abad.